It's time to hear from the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong, on your exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome in. It's another edition of Hans and Scotty right here on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Let's not waste any time as we kick off the program with the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong, kind enough to join us. Bill, how you doing?
Hello, Bill.
I'm doing good, boys. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Hanging in there.
How do you deal with the roller coaster of emotions that come from a season, the highs and the lows? I mean, it's an 82-game season, so you know that's going to happen. But I got to imagine it's hard not getting caught up in what's going on at the latest.
At this point in my life, I've raised 4 kids and I've coached and I've done probably almost every position in hockey. So I'm a lot calmer than I was at 29 and 30. I find ways that I guess I know myself better, and there are just times where you just say, listen, bite your tongue. It's a better day tomorrow. Study it in the morning, and come back at it at a calmer mindset. And that's a little bit of a skill in this job, and you have to learn to really kind of compartmentalize things where you can be in a room that's heated and have to go do a press conference on the other side of that wall, and it's the kid's greatest day of his life, and everybody's excited, and you have to be able to change your emotions and jump into what needs to be accomplished. So it's definitely a lot of practice, and it's definitely a lot of experience in knowing how to do that, because there are a lot of emotions in a day as a GM, for sure.
No question about it. And tough couple of nights over the last couple of nights, and it was crazy going into these 3 overtime games. The Mammoth were 3-0 in overtime games.
Yeah.
And, you string these 3 overtimes together, and just difficult ones, really difficult losses. How is the team handling these losses, and are there still good things you can take away from 3 consecutive 3-2 OT losses?
Yeah, there is. I think, the one thing about it is we get into this part of the season, and it's still early in the season, when it goes this way for you and it's not going your way, there's lessons to be learned, whether it's to back check it, whether it's better changes, or there's small things to be learned that causes the loss. And I think for our group, the one thing, the big picture, what you like about it, out of the last 8 points, we've got 5 of them. So you have to keep that in mind, and that's part of controlling your emotions and seeing the big picture. Our division is absolutely a battle. Every single night it's on. They're 1-goal games, and you better be ready to dig in and play our game. And so I like our team's battle last night. There's a lot of goodness that comes from coming back and in both games. And not playing well early on, and then stabilizing it on the road, and especially battling to get points. So there's some goodness. There's some learning curves, and some of those learning curves leaves a little scar. But you have to go through that. That's part of the adversity. And if we can clean up those small things in our game, we can find ways to win and get into the playoffs. So a little bit of a learning curve for us, but in the big picture, we got 5 of the 8 points.
Well, you come home on a 4-game homestand. You played 13 out of 20 on the road, most road games of anybody in the NHL. That Delta Center's got to be a nice to come back home, I guess.
It is. I think we've done a lot of road work, a lot of business trips we've been on so far, and I like where we're at as a team. We talked about, when we looked at that schedule at the start, we were like, man, this could be the storm that sinks the ship here if we don't get through it, And I like how our groups responded. I like how we've managed it and got through it, and it's been good. It's certainly going to pay dividends for us to get back on the Delta home ice and crush it. And so it's for us, we love to play at home. We love to play in front of our fans, and we got some great teams coming in.
Vegas twice in a matter of about 5 days. Talk about the Golden Knights, what you guys expect from them.
They're a good team every year. Led by Jack Eichel. They got big bodies. We've got to use our speed. That's going to be our big thing for us. We got to drop penalties by using our speed. We got to get to the inside. make them play fast. I think we're one of the fastest teams in the National Hockey League, and when we play that way, it's hard to keep up. We play with great pace, and it's an entertaining style of hockey. But when we put it on teams, we can create a lot of offense because of our speed and our pace. So it's going to be a battle. They're well coached, and they've got some great players.
What's the science behind having a team that's as fast as your team is and athletic as your team is, but 82 games, that's a long season, and you're only at the the quarter mark of the season. How do you go about it from a scientific standpoint to make sure that your guys are just as fast in March and April as they are now?
Well, one of the key things is, believe it or not, is, if we've, after our last game on the road, we make sure we work out, or we got a day between games, working out, making sure that we're tracking how much time we're on the ice. There's a little bit of sports science, which our group does a great job with, allowing them to get rest or staying over in a town and not, getting to your bed at home at 4 in the morning. So there's little ways that you have to do it. Every little hour counts. And it's not a normal season because the games are so jammed in for the Olympic break that you're playing, day off, playing, and then it's back to back, and then it starts again the next week. And so it's really about taking care of yourself, looking after yourself, and making sure that we've got the days planned out well for our players.
Bill, that Anaheim loss looked really difficult for the players, especially Vejmelka. And are there pretty strict rules on coming out of a net to a certain distance? Because it looked like Vejmelka was taking that loss on himself, giving up that OT goal. But I don't know anything about the specifics of how a goalie should attack out of the net, how far he should get out. Are there specific rules to that?
No, I mean, you can come out, but once you're out of the blue paint, you're free game for players to run into you in that. So I do think there's a limit to how far the goaltenders can actually come out and play. But that loss was on a lot of other, it was on everybody. It wasn't just on Vejmelka. And I think for us, there's a lot of learning curves. There's a lot of little things that we did in that situation we can do better. And I think that's something that you'd rather learn early in the season than later. So I like with our group, one thing about our group, we'll go back, we'll look at it, we'll fix it. Our players are dedicated. They're going to figure out and make sure it doesn't happen again. So I think when things happen like that to us, it's better it happens now so we can clean it up and fix it and move forward and make sure the next time it comes around that we're getting 2 points out of that game.
I really enjoy these conversations and learning more about the game simply because, you see a goal given up and you immediately think, well, the goalie gave up that goal, when in reality that could have happened 10, 15 seconds prior where that goal was given up with a defensive breakdown or somebody not being marked up. I mean, there's a lot that goes into giving up a goal.
Well, yeah, and they pull their goaltending at 6-on-5. If they just shoot the puck on net and outnumber you, they're going to get a good look at it, right? It could hit something in front and go on the net, and that's usually what happens on a 6-on-5. They just outnumber you. So that's going to happen anyways. I think for our group is making sure that people are in place, and if they do score, it's not that we did the wrong thing. It's just that they outnumbered us in that situation. So I think for our group, we'll grow through that. It's a hard learning lesson in early part of the season, but let's learn now and achieve later.
Peterka starting to climb the points list here, Bill. He's looking better and better. Scored a couple last night and really coming along. Just talk about J.J. Peterka now through a few games, 20 games with you and with this crew, and you just feel like it's still a pretty unlimited ceiling for him?
Yeah, I think with JJ, he's a natural goal scorer. He just appears, at times, and boom, he's like shot out of a cannon. And he's just got an elite ability to finish. He's impressive. I think it takes a while for players like that, when you play a key role on a team to kind of learn to fit in. So I think there's an adjustment period for him, and also it's a different system. So I think for him, he's made that adjustment, and I think he's getting better every single game. And not only is he trying to play good defense, but play, offensively at an elite level. So he's come a long way since the start of the season. I love his game, and I love the fact that he can add in goals. And he was huge for us last night, bearing 2 goals.
So I do games for Utah State, and there's a trip on the football team every year where they have a wives trip. You've got a mom's trip, and the players had their moms in the Anaheim, San Jose trip. What's that like, and the impact that those moms have had on their kids throughout the years?
Well, moms have a huge impact. When they do the drive and they do the organizing, if you see a good hockey player, there's usually a good mom right behind them. And that's the same for mine. My mom was extremely tough. My dad was a blue-collar guy, and they had to put a lot of time and effort into hockey for me. And I know, you appreciate it. But when you got in that car and you didn't play well, that was a long drive home with mom because she lets you know that she could be shopping and going on fancy vacations, but no, here we are driving to Buffalo for my game, and it was a long drive. You made sure you played well, but all the moms were unbelievable. They were grateful. They had some great days on the road with their boys, and just to spend time with their sons in the NHL, it's a special trip. For me, it's all about the wins. So I tell them, hey, listen, if you go undefeated in this trip, for the moms, you'll be back next year. Unfortunately, they didn't. We'll bring the dads in next year. So if the dads go undefeated, they'll be back the next year.
I love that. Bill, I was curious because Scotty and I are continuing to just learn the point system, and last year was really our first point of reference. And it took 96 points to get in the West. That was St. Louis that had that great finish and slid in with 96 points. Is there a point minimum that you kind of feel that you look at a number and you say, we have to have that many in order to make it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 92 this year because I think all the teams at the bottom have improved so much they're going to steal points. So I do think it's 92 points that gets you in. It's somewhere between 92 to 96. If you really want to get in and not let the GM sweat every single night, it's 100 points.
So let's just do the 100.
Just get the century mark and you're good. Yeah.
Tag the 100.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. I'm excited about this 4-game homestand. I know that the Mammoth fans are going crazy. Delta Center should be packed and crazy. So, Bill, it should be better for you.
Yeah, let's go, boys. Let's go.
All right. Hey, appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time, and can't wait to see those steaks get fired up here soon.
I can't wait either, boys. Thanks very much.
All right, brother.
There we go.